Today we'll go in depth into the Printf and Scanf functions. Let's start with the Printf function. Printf is a standard library function, meaning that it is included in the C standard library, stdio.h, and it formats the strings placed between double quotes and prints them on the console. We're also able to print values or strings placed in variables as long as we use the correct format specifier. We can do this by adding the format specifier of the respective variable type we want to print. Then we add the variable as an argument for the function printf. This will print the array message on the console. The Scanf function is another C library function that reads the data inputted and stores it in a variable. We can include information about what we want the user to input by placing a printf above the Scanf function. Scanf requires the format specifier for the type of data that will be stored. Scanf also takes an argument, but we have to use the address operator and to provide the memory address of the variable. This allows Scanf to directly modify the value of the variable by storing the user input at that memory address. In this example, we prompt the user to enter a number. Then, using Scanf, we specify the format specifier for the variable num1 inside quotes, followed by the address operator and next to the variable name. This ensures that the user input is stored in the variable num1. Going a bit deeper into the address operator, here we have an example of a memory. It stores the values of num1, num2, num3, and num4, each with a specific memory address. If we do AND num1, what the address operator does is it retrieves the memory address of num1 that was assigned to it in the variable declaration, in this case 0. So let's see how we can use the address operator and retrieve the memory address of a variable and print it on the console. I'm going to declare a variable of type int called number, so int number, and I'm going to initialize that to 45. Then I'm going to use the Printf function, and inside I'm going to say memory address. And I will utilize the format specifier %p that allows me to print the memory address. Then we do AND, the address operator, and the name of the variable, in this case number, that I'm passing as an argument. And so we're retrieving the memory address of the variable called number, and then we're printing it on the console. As we can see, the memory address that we have is 0061FE9C. This is where the number 45 is being saved in my computer. And keep in mind that this is hexadecimal notation. In this example, we're giving a quadratic function that is x squared minus 3x plus 2 and asks to write a program that asks the user for an input, in this case a number, and to calculate the output. So I'm going to define a variable of type int called input, and I'm going to initialize it to 0. Then I'm going to ask the user to enter a number using the printf function. So printf, double quote, let's say enter number. Then to actually save this number, I'm going to use the scanf function. And we're dealing with an int, so I'm going to use the format specifier %d. Then the address operator and the name of the variable, which is input. Now I'm going to calculate the result, and this result I'm going to save it in another variable of type int called result. So int result. To actually calculate the output, we're going to replace the x's in the function with the input from the user. So input squared is just input times input minus 3 times input plus 2. And finally, we're going to print the result. So printf result, format specifier, integer, so %d, and the variable we want to print, so result. So we're asked to enter a number, let's enter 5, and we get a result of 12. In our final example, we're asked to calculate the average grades for 2 students, each with 3 different grades. Here we're given the grades for student 1 and student 2. I noticed that they're all decimal, so I'm going to make these variables doubles. So let's go through them. Double, and I'm going to name this variable student 1, grade 1, and I'm going to initialize it to 98.56. For a second grade, I'm going to do double student 1, grade 2, and initialize this to 76.87. I'm going to do this for the rest of them. Now that we have all variables, we're going to calculate the average. So my average is going to be a decimal. So I'm going to save this average in a variable. So I'm going to do double average 1 for student 1. And I'm going to set that equal to our calculation. Here's the formula for an average or mean, which is the sum of all values starting from the first to the last and divided by the total number of values. In our case, we have 3 total grades that we're going to add. So student 1, grade 1, plus student 1, grade 2 plus student 1 grade 3. And all of this divided by 3, our total number of grades. We're going to do this again, but for student 2. Now we're going to print both averages. So to print average 1, we're going to do printf quotes average 1. The format specifier for the double is %lf, and I want to round the average. So before I do lf, I'm going to type 0.3. And then finally, variable name, which is average 1. Do this again for average 2. Now I'm going to compile and run. As you guys see, I got an error, and it's because I typed the student 1 wrong. So student 1. Compile and run. Here are our averages. If I want to print them in a separate line, I can go /n and set for this. After running the program, we get our averages. If you want more practice, there's a link in the description below that will take you to a PDF with more practice problems. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and as always, keep coding.